that's being built in Ohio. Meta announced Prometheus, which will be a 1 gigawatt cluster spanning across multiple data center buildings in July. Prometheus is anticipated to come online this year. Meta says that the 3 deals will support up to 6.6 gigawatts of new and existing clean energy by 2035. According to a general industry standard for utilities, a single gigawatt can power roughly 750,000 homes. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
On Wall Street, the Dow was up 86 points, the NASDAQ up 62. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's today's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 26. Tomorrow, all kinds of sunshine. We're a bit warmer, too, the high climbing up to 60. Not as nice on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance for some afternoon showers, the high getting up to 59. We're bitter cold Thursday and Friday, highs just in the 40s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, well, how was your weekend? Let me tell you about my weekend. My weekend stunk. Horrible. Terrible. Lousy. Rotten. No good. Stinking. I said rotten already. Putrid. Ugh.
You didn't say choke, collapse. There are other adjectives you could use to describe what your team did on Saturday night.
Oh, my gosh. This one, I tell you what, I must be a glutton for punishment. I intentionally today listened to Chicago Sports Talk Radio I
can't believe you did that.
Well, I just wanted to add to the pain. I just wanted to add. And they're dancing, and they truly were dancing in the streets of Chicago. We don't realize down here, I mean, it's the playoffs, it's the NFL. We don't realize down here how intense that Bears-Packer rivalry is. Mm-hmm. And now Ben Johnson has just added to it by completely disrespecting the Packers with his language from the very opening press conference he had when he took the job. But you know what? More power to him. They're backing it up, And, oh, God. But you know what? Over the weekend, if your team had a P in their name, you were a loser. Packers, Panthers, Philadelphia.
Yep.
And tonight,
survived were the
Pittsburgh.
Patriots.
Oh, I forgot about the Patriots. Yeah, I forgot about the Patriots. Yeah, they made it. And you got Pittsburgh tonight, the Steelers. But man, the weekend of NFL football, it was, except for the one game with the Chargers. Mm-hmm. Every game was fantastic. It really was fantastic. Yeah.
And we obviously love college football more so than we do NFL down here in the South. But if you ever need a reason to see why the NFL is still the king around in terms of sports leagues, I think this weekend proved it. The competitive balance in the NFL is insane.
Yeah.
And all four of the games, with the exception of probably, as you mentioned, the Chargers-Patriots last night, all four of the games over the weekend or 5 games rather, were just terrific. I mean, they really were. Just can't miss TV, and that's the wild card round. We hadn't even gotten in the Broncos nor the Seahawks yet, the best two teams in either conference. So, yeah, the NFL postseason better than the college football postseason.
Oh, no question. No question. Well, the NFL just in general, they've been doing it longer. They've been doing their way longer. The colleges are trying to catch up. I mean, yesterday was a madhouse for about an hour and a half there. It was free agent signing after free agent signing between South Carolina and Clemson and, of course, all over the country. So they're trying to catch up. They don't have it down yet because they still can't follow the rules. They still can't – the players still can't stick to a commitment. You had Hollywood Smothers committing to Alabama, then signing with Texas. This is just like high school, you know. You got Sam Levitt apparently going to sign with LSU, but Tennessee still coming in with a very strong offer to turn him. Now, really, it's no different than free agency in the legacy leagues because they do that all the time. Until you sign the contract, it's not over. And, you know, I mean, let's use Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson signed that huge contract with the Yankees, but let's just say the Dodgers had come in at the 11th hour way back then with an even better contract. Do you think he wouldn't have taken it? I mean, unless he just wanted to play in New York. So unless you have a specific reason for wanting to play at a particular school, the money is what drives you today. It's a totally a transactional market that we have now. So a lot of crazy stuff. What we're going to do is go over everything on our free agent boards for South Carolina and Clemson and update all that, plus all the other recruiting news coming your way. In fact, an interview tonight with one of the South Carolina signees. You know, they signed the brothers Collins from the state of Alabama. Kelby, the more highly touted of the two, who started out at Florida, then went to Alabama, now he's coming to South Carolina, who was actually recruited by South Carolina out of high school. And his brother, Drew, who went to Arkansas State, and, you know, felt like he was better than that. And so he's coming to South Carolina as well. Had a chance to talk with Drew this afternoon, so we'll play that little interview for you tonight along with our other recruiting. Zach will be along 1st and 10 as we continue to head towards the national championship game in college football, which is a week away. I mean, the college football playoff just seems to drag on and on and on. They've got to tighten the calendar with all of this. And, I mean, I don't know, is it because of academics, the academic calendar, and or they're trying to, of course, incorporate the New Year's Day bowl game, so you gotta work it around New Year's. I don't know how you tighten it up, but it just needs to be tightened up. And then what else do we have tonight? We got Zach. Brad Brownell, Clemson, 22nd in the AP poll.
About time they were ranked.
Oh, really? What a great start to the year they're having, 4-0. And South Carolina women move up to number 2 ahead of their showdown with Texas on Thursday night. Texas dropped to number 4 after their loss to LSU. I went to the South Carolina-Georgia game, and, you know, South Carolina was right there with 8 minutes to go. They've got an 8-point lead, but then they hit that cold streak, and they went scoreless for a few minutes, and Georgia came from behind and took a small lead and was kind of back and forth. And at the end of the day, Georgia just had a little bit too much at the end there for South Carolina. So that's another tough loss for the Gamecocks, who are off to a 1-2 start as they head to Arkansas on Wednesday. So we got
that's
all
one
that.
They've got to finish with, Phil, too. Pardon me. That's one they've got to finish off. You held Georgia, top-ranked scoring team in the country, about 20 points below their season average. You cannot lose that game, especially at home. And to see them have, you know, double-digit lead in the first half, have the lead at halftime, as you pointed out, an 8-point lead in the second half, and not to finish. It's not on their defense. I mean, it goes back to what we talked about. You see when they make shots, what they can do, the LSU game, but when they cannot hit shots from the outside, they just don't have an answer.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody, and especially Michie Johnson just went ice cold, disappeared in the second half. They don't have anybody they just hand the ball to and say, we've got to have a bucket this trip down, go get us a point, go get us some points or get fouled and get to the line.
You know, Sherrod Jams could be that guy. I mean, he is the overall most talented player on their team.
Agreed.
Maybe Elijah Strong, but I think really Sherrod Jams is the one who can put it on the floor, who, because of his size, take advantage of a mismatch, has the strength and the skills to get to the rim. That would be the one I would say, hey, go
Fair
get.
Enough.
And by the way, I don't know if anybody saw it. Maybe you didn't. Obviously, you didn't, or you would have said something. I have to give myself credit for the post of the year, the early part of the year, the post of the year. You know what it was? On X on Saturday?
No,
you didn't see that. You didn't see this? Highly disappointed that you didn't see this. So, the March for Peace by the monks. You've heard about this, right?
No.
What
like
planet have you been on
here a little bit? I know, evidently so.
All right, so
I saw them, by the way.
It's a group of I almost ran them over with my car. Seriously, no.
That's a terroristic threat right there.
I was going down Gervais Street and they were coming up, but I was ahead of them and got off. there's a group of monks. Monks are from Mongolia, right? There's what?
These monks are from India, I think.
Well, for the purpose of my story, they're from Mongolia.
Or Belmont Abbey.
No, these monks are actually from Texas.
Well, but you know what the heritage is. Quit messing with my tweet.
Just saying, these monks are from Texas.
Anyway, they're marching through Columbia. They came from Atlanta. They're marching all the way to Washington, D.C. It's a march for peace. Mm-hmm. And it's a group of monks and a dog. They got their dog with them as well. They were coming through Columbia. I guess they were going to go up US 1. I guess they're coming through Columbia and going up US 1 to go to Washington.
Well, they came through Lexington, like Saluda, Lexington. They went through Columbia, up through Blythewood, Ridgeway, and going up 77, I believe, up north.
They're walking on the interstate?
Well,
I hope not.
Well, up 21.
It'd be shorter to go up US 1. Just stay on 1, take you right into downtown Washington.
I can tell you right now they're on 21 right now.
Can I finish my story?
You asked.
I did not ask. Anyway, my post was this. I said it stands to reason that with the monks' March for Peace coming through Columbia today, that it stands to reason that Gamecock forward Mike Sherajams, who is from Mongolia, would have a big game, being inspired by the monks coming through Columbia. And he did have a big game. He had 19 points. But you didn't see that. Nice. I'm really disappointed.
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not. My apologies. I was working Saturday afternoon at a different basketball game, so I didn't get a chance to read Twitter all that much.
Mm-hmm. You had a surprising win.
Yes, Coastal played very well. That's a nice win for them. They have not had a whole lot of luck over the years against Appalachian State. Had lost 5 in a row and 10 of 11. So to be able to close it out, actually trailing at halftime, it's the first game this season they've won when they were trailing at halftime. So maybe turn the corner a little bit. A nice win. And Josh Beadle, former Clemson Tiger, was huge, career high in points. Matched his career high and made field goals. Matched his career high in assists. I mean, he just was all over the place and basically he was the guy that I was talking about earlier for Carolina. He just basically put Coastal on his back and said, we're not losing today.
Well, you go back to South Carolina and Clemson's games, good defense played by both. You mentioned the Gamecocks holding Georgia well below their average. And, I mean, that's a good sign that they could play defense because that's been one of the knocks against them, the lack of defensive effort. And, this team is built around shooting the three. And when they're not making it, they're just not going to win. When they make a consistent number of threes, they're going to win some ball games down the road. Clemson, they just look really good. Those pieces just seem to fit really well. They have bought into Brad Brownell's system and playing excellent defense, and now they've won 3 ACC games. I think I read this where they've won 11 straight ACC road games.
No, 11 consecutive ACC games, I think, period.
Is it 11 consecutive?
Not to regular season games, obviously, not the tournament.
Not road games. You're saying overall ACC
correct.
games. Okay.
Correct.
Whatever. Either way, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And let's note College of Charleston. Another win for them. They've won 7 in a row. So they've gotten hot at the right time as well. All right. We got all that for you, and you are welcome to join us. The phone number is 888-898-2525, 888-898-2525. That's the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us. Also, you can reach us with a text. Our text line number is 803-900-4847, brought to you by Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com. That's LarryLucasAgency.com. We'll be right back.
It might be tough to picture your kid in college today, but it'll be here before you know it. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to start saving right now. You can start with any amount. Savings grow tax-free, and friends and family can chip in too. Discover the smart, easy way to save today at FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30-plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Just like in college basketball today, sometimes it's about who you bring in off the bench to provide that extra spark. At StraightUpSports.net, we're excited to announce the addition of Brett Friedlander, a longtime ACC insider columnist, to our all-star lineup that includes Bob Gillespie, Scott Kiefer, Mark Sturgis, and more. At StraightUpSports.net, it's always about the stories. Check out this all-star lineup at StraightUpSports.net or at Straight Up Sports on Facebook.
These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday.
$1 lighter.
We have a factual error to correct, Bergie.
Yes, we do. You were right. I was wrong. Clemson has won 11 consecutive ACC road games, not just overall in the conference. So, well done.
What's
you
the
would
total?
think I would know this because I did the recap on the game Saturday.
Yes, you did. What's our total up to, Plumber?
$6.
Already?
All going to the plumber.
$6?
Yep. You're at
I think
4.
we ought to give it to the Monks Walk for Peace. Help buy them some shoes.
I'm serious. I was heading to the
They don't
arena.
wear shoes, Berkey.
Does that count as another? No, we'll let that pass. So I'm heading to the arena on Saturday, typically, 20 minutes late. And, traffic's okay, but then I'm coming down Gervais to make a left onto Lincoln and come in that way. And I'm seeing these people. I mean, I appreciated the fact that they were interested in watching me drive to the arena. I'm seeing these people line up on the sidewalks.
Watch out.
And I was going to wave to them and kind of do the little parade wave and all that kind of stuff. But then I find out that we had the Monks coming up Gervais Street. I'm like, I better get out of here. And I was able, because I didn't want to get stuck and miss tip-off and all that kind of stuff, get stuck in the parade there.
And by the way, Josh, they are wearing shoes in the picture.
Some wear shoes, some don't. That's debatable. We can go back and forth. I saw monks that did not have shoes. I saw monks that
Good
did
for
have
them.
shoes.
I can't imagine walking that far barefoot.
I knew a
That's
monk.
impressive.
I actually knew a monk. When I was a kid, one of my Little League coaches' name was Monk Meekins. So I actually knew somebody who was a monk. Monk Meekins, not a monk in terms of his practices. Far from it, I would guess. All right, phone number 888-898-2525 is our phone number. Let me hit a few of the bigger stories of the day. We're going back to the chase, Bergie, in NASCAR. What's the deal?
Yay. Best I can tell, Phil, is this is the FBS saying, the Power Four saying, we don't want the G5 involved anymore. So let's go back to the chase. Let's eliminate the win and you're in philosophy. So that certainly, in my opinion, I may be totally off on this, but in my opinion, that's going to hurt the smaller underfunded teams because their one chance to get in the playoffs was to luck up and win a race. They're not going to be able to do that now. If you do win a race, you will actually get more points towards getting into the chase at the end of the year. It's going to be based strictly on points. So best I can tell, the top 16 point getters in NASCAR will go into what is now back to the chase, which ended back in 2013, but they have eliminated that win and you're in situation. So it just seems like to me, the haves said, look, let's figure out a way to get the have-nots, make it a little more difficult. Maybe even the Sean Van Gisbergen situation. We don't need a guy who only went on the road courses having an automatic pathway to the playoffs. So I think he'll probably win enough if it's just road courses, he'll probably still win enough to get in. But yeah, I think eliminating that win and you're in situation, to me, it just looks like, and somebody smarter than I am in NASCAR can tell me otherwise, but it just looks like that's a way to keep the underfunded teams, sort of limit their opportunities and their access to the postseason.
All right, news from USC. David Cloninger with the Post and Courier had a story on this afternoon. Then Jordan Kay with the State followed up as well. It's about the construction at Williams-Brice Stadium and the spring game. And according to Jeremiah Donati, quoted by Jordan Kay of the State, quote, "We'd like to play the game, but the project is the priority." I haven't read the story here all the way through. I don't know off the top of my head if they have any alternative places in mind. You can always play the game somewhere else in the Columbia area or somewhere else in the state, maybe. I don't know if there are any rules that would prohibit that, traveling and all that. But, hey, look, if there's no spring game, I'd party like it's what, 19 – what's that expression?
1999.
Party like it's 1999. The fewer spring games I have to sit through, the better.
Where else would you play it, Phil?
Where else would you play it?
In Columbia.
Well, you could go to, I'm thinking of a high school stadium. Of course, I guess you're talking
Benedict would probably make the most sense.
Yeah, but even that, if
Jordan
you're thinking,
Kay actually points that out in the state.
But if you're talking about typically the spring game, now they push it and they want 30, 35, 40,000.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
There's no place in Columbia that would handle that.
Correct.
But one of the large high schools, if you wanted just to have a game and have some people there, you could go to South Carolina State. They would seat about 20,000 or so. You could ask Clemson for permission to use.
Wouldn't that be great?
Can we borrow Death Valley for a Saturday? So, hey, I'm all for sitting it out. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for it.
Again, because coaches have gotten so paranoid about this is why Missouri and Florida State and a lot of teams last year didn't have a spring game field, because they're afraid stuff gets out. Well, just have it in the indoor. You can basically have a scrimmage inside the indoor and not make it open to the public and wrap up spring that way.
Yeah.
If you have to have some sort of game to conclude the spring practice, just have it in the indoor and just don't have fans or anybody else attend. And you can have Beamer come in afterwards and give a post-spring game update.
Well, why even the indoor? You could do it outdoors on your outside practice fields.
Sure.
You got beautiful practice fields right there next to the indoor. A couple of
Good
other
point.
quick things that I wanted to mention, then we'll get to phone calls. 888-898-2525. The College Sports Commission released their latest NIL deal flow report. 17,321 deals were approved at a total value of $127.21 million. 524 deals at a value of $14.94 million were not cleared. 10,848 unique athletes were involved. This comes out to the average deal approved at $7,344 for the average NIL deal. The average value for the deals that were not approved, $28,511. So some people were shooting for the moon and they said no, and then the rest who just took, $7,300 for the average deal. I mean, that's not mind-blowing money by any means. You were getting more than that when you're getting paid under the table.
This is true. And it makes you wonder, all right, if those reports that we've heard about, say, Lenore Sellers and what he's making in, the quarterback at Washington, and just pulling some of these examples, $3, $4, $5, $6 million, whatever you believe. And evidently that's what Ty Simpson was offered by a couple of different schools reportedly to not go into the NFL draft and transfer from Alabama to someplace else. What does that mean the bottom of the barrel is getting to where the average value drops all the way to $7,000?
Yeah. Some of them are not getting as rich as they think, but then again, for those who've been having, who've had no money coming their way, some money is better than no money. I mean, going back, you mentioned like Lenore Sellers. I mean, my information is that now, and I don't know if this is total package, or his rev share and his NIL deal, or everything together, but I'm told 3.5 for him. 3.5 for him, and of course they signed Dylan Stewart, and it was reported by Pete Thamel that Stewart's among the highest paid players in the country. So he's got to, again, just guessing here, don't know any facts on him in particular. I do know on Sellers, but on Stewart I don't really know, but you got to think he's 2+. If he's among the highest paid in the country, he's got to be 2+. That would push those two deals over 5 together if you're counting, all aspects of revenue, NIL and the rev share. Interesting up at Clemson, Larry Williams had a very interesting detailed report. As he reported previously, Clemson had 3 millionaires on the roster this past season. I think it was 3, maybe 4. Klubnik, Woods, Parker, maybe Antonio Williams. Maybe he cited 4 players making $1 million+. This is his reporting. But he says that Clemson now, as Auburn has done apparently, Clemson is going with a incentive-based payment structure to where they're not going to front-load these deals, which might mean they're going to miss out on players coming out of high school or trying to get players out of the portal, though they've done okay with that. But they're telling guys, you come in here and you play well and you earn honors and you do this and do that, you'll make big-time money, but you've got to earn it. We're just not going to front-load it and promise it to you and then you not go out there and perform. And I wonder if more schools are going to be following that kind of model. We'll be right back.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 26. Tomorrow, all kinds of sunshine. We're a bit warmer too, the high climbing up to 60. Not as nice on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance for some afternoon showers, the high getting up to 59. We're bitter cold Thursday and Friday, highs just in the 40s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Sleep better, dream better, right here at home. Best Mattress has built a legacy of comfort in the Midlands for 97 years. Family owned, locally crafted. Visit West Columbia, Divine Street, or our newest Lexington showroom by the amphitheater to experience real American-made quality. Discover your perfect mattress with our custom comfort test. Plus, get white glove delivery and a reassuring 90-day comfort warranty. No offshore shortcuts, just honest local value. Visit bestmattress.net. Best Mattress. Sleep local. Sleep better.
Nice off. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says Iran wants to negotiate with the U.S. after his threat to strike the country over its crackdown on protesters. Activists said Monday the death toll in the demonstrations has risen to at least 599. Iran hasn't yet responded to Trump's comments. Trump and his teams are considering responses including cyber attacks and direct strikes. The state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul are suing the federal government to stop an enforcement surge by Immigration and Customs Enforcement following the fatal shooting of a Minneapolis woman by an ICE officer. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 86 points, the Nasdaq rose 62, the S&P advanced 11. More details at srnnews.com.
Are you tired of that sinking feeling when the electric bill arrives? Does the phrase peak hours trigger anxiety and a headache? Do you suffer from chronic fatigue of watching your hard-earned money evaporate right into the power grid? You may be suffering from utility pain and anxiety disorder, or UPAD. Symptoms include sweating when running the AC, a fear of turning on lights, and a general feeling of powerlessness over your energy costs.
It's time for you to try Solaris from Ken at Broker Solar. Broker Solar isn't a temporary fix, but a lasting solution with cutting-edge solar technology designed to address high energy bills at their source. Many clients have experienced immediate relief from high monthly payments with reports of increased home value and greater financial freedom. Imagine a brighter future for your home and your wallet. Side effects include the freedom to use your appliances when you want and a powerful sense of energy independence. Broker Solar. A brighter outlook for your home and wallet. Call us now, 803-807-7417. That's 807-7417 or online at brokersolar.com.
If your New Year's resolution involves more days in the woods, on the water, or at the range, then Palmetto State Armory is your go-to destination. Come in today to explore our massive selection of firearms, ammo, outdoor equipment, fishing gear, and more. Visit us today to find the area's best pricing on your favorite brands like 6 Hour, Springfield Armory, Smith & Wesson, Drake, AFTCO, and many more. Come in today to get your new year started the right way at Palmetto State Armory.
It's open enrollment time again. What does that mean? It means you get to reevaluate your health insurance options. At the Alpine Agency, we work with you to find the right plan for your family. We have plans for as low as $0 a month, and we'll help you determine if your doctors and hospitals are covered in your network. Call 803-683-7765. Your agent will do the research, planning, and enrollment, and it won't cost you a dime for our services. Call us or visit us at alpineagency.com.
If you missed the home equity line of credit from Founders Federal Credit Union, well, we have good news. The offer has been extended, but don't wait. You only have until January 31st to get up to $750 toward closing costs when you open a Founders HELOC. That's more in your pocket for home improvements, debt consolidation, major purchases, unexpected expenses, or a much-needed vacation. The possibilities are endless. Imagine starting the new year with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends January 31st. Save more and jumpstart your year. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates and flexible terms to fit your budget. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Okay, we're back at Sports Talk Media Network. I blame Bergie for the cold weather because this is something he wishes upon us. And
yes,
I don't know how you can enjoy
it.
this after we had 70, 75 degrees over the weekend. No jackets, no coats, a little bit of perspiration, no shivering out there. But you would rather shiver than sweat. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Indeed.
Messed
Especially
up.
in January.
That's messed up.
I can handle the heat during the summertime where it belongs, but not in the wintertime.
It's messed up. I don't know what's going on around here, man. One day we're Florida in January, next day we're Anchorage. I don't know. We got Anchorage coming up. So I want to remind you to get to the beach, though, because the weather at the beach is always nice, whether it's a little chilly or it's blazing hot. You know, you got ways to make it work. Go ahead and get your plans in order to get down to the beach for a great beach vacation. Call James Smith Real Estate, 843-237-4246, or check them out online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Of course, all along the beach, a great place to hang out for a weekend or a week or even longer. Make it a permanent move. They'll be happy to work with you on that real estate transaction. 843-237-4246, your perfect beach getaway, brought to you by Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate. A couple of other quick items, then we'll get to the phone calls. A couple of significant moves in high school announced over the weekend. From Summerville, this came out on Sunday. From Summerville, their receiver, who'll be a senior this coming season, he is his name is, I'm looking, Jaden Murray. Jaden Murray, he is transferring to Oceanside Collegiate, and I'm looking from my note, but I can't pull it up.
Does that get a flush?
No, that's not an NIL deal that we
What?
know of. It's a high school transfer deal. We don't assume. We're not assuming anything ugly here in high school.
That has nothing to do with money, though.
The flush?
The flush has nothing to do with
Yeah,
No,
he's
it's
just
all
wondering
about.
if it's a transfer portal, John.
No, this is a
situation.
high school. This is a high school
No,
thing.
but okay.
This is a high school thing. Why can't I find my doggone note? Anyway, the other one is that Joshua Dobson from Catawba Ridge is transferring to Huff High School in Cornelius, Georgia. So we're losing maybe the top player in the state. to a school across the state over in the Charlotte area. So he's transferring. So a couple of major transfers there in the state of South Carolina.
Jaden Kelly Murray is
That's
the
it.
young man you're referencing from
Yeah.
Somerville.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I couldn't find my note on that. Let's run to the phones. 888-898-2525. Appreciate the patience. Had a lot to cover there and more to come. Let's begin the week with Tiger Bryan. All right, Tiger Bryan, welcome to Sports Talk. Have we talked to you this year? Is this our first call from Tiger Bryan?
Yeah. I was the first caller this year.
Oh,
remember?
that's right. You were the first caller of the year.
Hey,
Yeah.
You get no, Corn. You get
Yeah,
no.
can't remember all these things. You're right. I better write it down.
Hey, my son just come by 21 and the monks all walking down the road.
Really? On Highway 21?
21 going towards Rock Hill. Vault Mill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you
So
go
you
out?
was right.
Did you go out to see him?
No, I went to the gym. Hey, Miss Tiger Bryan got me on treadmills, working in the gym and all.
Oh man, you got to send us a before and after picture.
No, I'll tell you what, I'm just tired. I mean, it's second week.
How's it
3
going?
days a week.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. My heart doctor told me I need to walk 30 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
And she can walk 45 minutes on the treadmill. I do 15, 12. I'm up to 20 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
But I'm telling you what, you what gets me, you was talking about all these transfer portals and all. I wonder if, they got about how much they pay and all that. I wonder how many of them actually graduate and get a degree.
Well, the schools report high numbers with their graduation rates. The guys are coming in and finishing up their degrees. It's pretty interesting to me how all this works. I can remember when you would transfer, it used to be you would lose X number of hours. You transfer from one school to another. The school you were going to wouldn't accept all your hours, so you might lose 10 hours, 12 hours, more than that, and have to kind of drop down a class and make that up. I guess a lot of that stuff's getting waived, or the players are coming in and not really worrying about it because they're thinking just a year and then I'm moving on to the next level, that sort of thing. But the schools are reporting very high graduation rates. I'm not seeing any drop off there.
Well, my thing is they're getting paid, and then they're getting, before they wasn't getting paid, they was getting free school. Now they get, like I told you, my oldest boy went to Clemson. He used to be a tutor for the football and basketball team in Clemson. He's 35 now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They back then they was paying him like $15 an hour.
So he was helping those Tigers stay eligible, huh?
Yeah, he sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
sure was.
I know how that
told him,
works.
right? The
I know how
paper's
that
full,
works.
whatever.
Yeah. I know how that works.
Cole, I tell him which player on football to write the papers for him and everything else.
Yep. Hey, let's see. If he's 35, so he was probably doing it about 10, 15 years ago. So we're talking about 16, 10, about 20. He was there during the championship time, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, he was.
He probably did a couple of papers for Deshaun. You think Deshaun?
I know he did.
Maybe got a couple of papers done for Deshaun, and maybe.
Well, you know what he done? You know what he quit? He was a BMW scholar for the last 2 years at BMW plant, in engineering, and they paid him, and he quit doing that, went to work. He worked for them, and now he works Barcelona at Greenville. He's been up there 15 years, 14 years.
He's making some big money. He's making good money.
Yeah, Daddy told him right. You know what I mean?
There you go. All right. We got to run.
Appreciate y'all's time.
Yeah,
y'all
you
have a
too.
great night.
You keep working hard in the gym. Keep working hard in the gym.
Man, I'm trying, but I'm going to try.
There you go. Appreciate it. Good hearing from you. Let's
I
go
love
to
y'all.
you two, buddy. Let's go to Keith in Camden next with us here on Sports Talk. Welcome in, Keith. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, Phil, Bergie. Just a comment. It'd be ludicrous for me to say, how do I know what the quarterback's worth, Dylan Stewart, Harbor? But it's beyond that because we both, Sellers didn't have a great year. And if you look at, first, let's just say this. They're unbelievable talents, okay? But it's more components to it. With no offensive line, Sellers struggled. If you look at Stewart's number, he's had 33 tackles and 4.5 sacks. So what does that tell me? If anybody watched, the opposite defensive end a year ago made a difference. He was double teamed, 65% of the time. So, yeah, you got to have people around them or you just throwing money out the friggin' window. So that's it. Your comments, Bergie, T's comments, and we enjoy the show. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. Look, that's the case in any situation where you're paying an athlete to play for you, this level or the Major League Baseball or NBA or NFL. They negotiate a contract in advance, not at the end of the year. That's why it's done in advance, and you sign them in advance to 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, paying them this amount of money. You hope they live up to it, but they don't, obviously, even at the highest level. They don't always live up to the money that you're paying them. If you've guaranteed it, then you got to pay it if it's a guaranteed deal. If you pay it up front in the form of a bonus, you have to eat it. If a player's not good, you've paid him this money, you cut him, he goes somewhere else, he's got your money, you didn't get it out of him. I'll say this, I got to believe, Bergie, I don't know this for fact, but I got to believe that Lenora Sellers left money on the table because the way the market is, we see this story about Ty Simpson where schools are offering, according to these reports, and I'm assuming these agents are putting this money out, this figure out there as a way of driving the narrative and also driving the price up. $6.5 million for Ty Simpson. Sam Levitt, what have I seen on him? Like $5 million or so to go to LSU, and Tennessee apparently is coming in. From what I'm reading, Tennessee's coming in with an 11th hour big offer to try to snatch him away. And my point is, for $3.5 million, and again, I don't know if that's combined deal, rev share, NIL, whatever, but something in that neighborhood coming from somewhere, combination, individually, I don't know, but whatever. I believe he left some out there because had he tried to push it, from what I'm told, he never wanted to transfer anyway. It was going to be staying at South Carolina another year or going on to the NFL. And had he pushed it, to say, I'm looking to transfer, I want to entertain offers from other schools, he might have gotten up in that $4.5 million range because it's all based on projection, what they think you're able to come in and do. And everybody believes and knows that Lenora Sellers is a heck of a talent. If you put him in an offense with an offensive line as good as Miami's, you saw Miami just move the line of scrimmage the other night. Just line up and just blow people away. You put him and you give him some of the talent they have on that Miami team. He's an entirely different quarterback, probably.
Oh, I would agree wholeheartedly. I think if you just give him an offensive line and a running game, Lenora Sellers is the guy we saw 2 years ago, especially to close out the season, because I think at the wide receiver position, Carolina was in good shape. He just didn't have an opportunity to get the ball down the field like he should have been able to, and that's, I think, why we're seeing Shane Beamer totally. You talk about clearing house. That whole offensive line room is basically gone, and it's going to be a new group totally. And I don't know that Gamecock fans should be terribly disappointed in that. But back to Miami for a moment, it brings me up to the game next Monday rather. I think that's probably the one advantage they do have against Indiana is their size up front and that defensive front line. But if they don't control the line of scrimmage against Indiana, they've got no shot. Indiana's gotten to a point, Phil, I think not only are they the best team in the country this year, I heard, Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy were talking about it during their blowout of Oregon about halftime. He said they're getting historically good, and they referenced the 2019 LSU team with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and those guys. I don't know that they're quite there, but good grief, it'd be hard to argue. If they blow out Miami on their home field, this may be one of the greatest college teams we've ever seen.
Well,
from Indiana.
I think they're going to see the best defense they've seen.
I think you're right there.
In Miami. So let's see what they can do. And then Miami, their offense is quarterback, running back, receivers, that big offensive line. I mean, they're good. Miami is really – how they lost a couple of games is pretty amazing. How they almost didn't make the playoffs is pretty amazing. But they've hit the go button at the right time for them, and they're playing some outstanding football. Should be a great matchup. Should be, a fourth quarter, down to the wire sort of thing. Indiana will probably be better coached than Miami will be top to bottom, I would guess. Be right back.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been handling claims and cases for individuals and small businesses. I've now been a mediator for more than 10 years. Let me put that experience to work for you. Like if you're injured in a wreck or on the job or at someone else's place, anytime you should get reimbursed or compensated. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968 or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett to settle your claims, avoid a lawsuit, or go to trial.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Looking for a new car? You need to think about a Kia. If you're in the market for an SUV, consider the new Kia Telluride or the new Kia Sorento. They're big, they're strong, and loaded with tech for thousands less than Honda or Toyota. You'll see the difference right away, and you get double the warranty. Plus, you get the JT's Advantage million-mile warranty and about 1,000 other things you have to see to believe. If you want the biggest bang for your buck, it's time to think about a new JT's Kia. We're serious about saving you money.
Hey, don't forget to get to our poll question of the week. That's brought to you by Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance in Columbia, number 803-799-1998, in Lexington, 803-359-0770. Our poll question of the week is, who is the college football player of the year in South Carolina? I could have put
actually voted in this
10 or 15 guys in there. I could have put 10 or 15. In alphabetical order, Reed Sharpia, quarterback Newberry, Colin Hurst, quarterback Presbyterian, Cade Klubnik, quarterback Clemson, Israel Nwakacha, defensive lineman Benedict, had a great year, by the way, for those of you who don't know, All-American D2, HBCU All-American, Lenore Sellers, quarterback South Carolina, Joshua Stone King, defensive end Furman, FCS first-team All-American, a finalist for the National Defensive Player of the Year, and Gerard Washington, defensive back from South Carolina State, who was the Defensive Player of the Year in the MEAC, and I believe an FCS All-American as well. So those are, and there could have been some others we could have thrown in there, but I couldn't put, didn't want to go too far, too many names. So to this point, 45% Reed Sharpia, 18% Colin Hurst, 13% Joshua Stone King, 9% Cade Klubnik, 9% Lenore Sellers, and 4.5% Gerard Washington. So get in there and vote. It's D2, FCS, FCS players at the top of the poll. That's good, and they deserve to be there. They had great years, all those guys. But, Klubnik's Klubnik and Sellers is Sellers, and they had good years at their respective schools, not necessarily great years.
But they weren't the player of the year in our state, either one of them.
Well, I mean, who would you have used? Somebody else from Clemson and somebody else from South Carolina? Would you have used?
No, probably not.
Yeah. I thought about Antonio Williams from Clemson. Could have been one. South Carolina-wise, I mean, like you said, Dylan Stewart didn't have the dominating year. Maybe it wasn't you. I think it was Keith who said that, which is true. He didn't have.
Kari Swain might have been the guy.
Kari Swain could have been one. Yep.
I voted for Sharpia. As much as it pains me voting for a Newberry guy, I think he deserves it. I think he was by far the best football player in our state, regardless of classification this year, what he was able to do and how he guided his team to within one game of a national championship.
I forgot to tell you that employees of the Sports Talk Media Network are ineligible to vote. Sorry about that.
I voted anyway.
Sorry about
to rig the poll.
You have broken the rules. Let's go to Andy in Columbia next up here on Sports Talk. More calls to come. Welcome in, Andy. How are you?
Hello, fellas. I hope you had a good weekend.
Lousy.
A few things I want to hit on.
Pitiful weekend. Sucked. It's terrible.
I thought it was wonderful. Your Packers sucking it up always makes me smile big. 3 things I want to touch base on. When you make a mistake, instead of just the alarm, I think there should be a cha-ching going, indicating the cash you're throwing into the piggy bank.
Take that up with the plumber. He's the producer. Take it up with him.
Okay, Josh, try to bring that in with that. Okay, Indiana. I don't think Miami. I'll tell you what. Oregon has good defensive and offensive lines.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana just abused them like the redheaded stepchild. I mean, it wasn't even. I mean, from the start, what was it? The first play they intercepted and ran in for a touchdown. You turned off the lights right then. It was over. And regarding what you said, I guess you said Larry Williams was reporting how Clemson now is handling the NIL type thing.
Yeah.
Well, how are they going to compete with everybody else who's paying the kids up front and paying the kids and not doing it on a bonus situation on how you perform? I mean, what kid would want to go and, take that gamble unless there's something? I mean, if you're guaranteed money up front, that you're going to get the same money if you're going to have to make a certain performance clause, what are you going to take? The money you're already guaranteed, or are you going to go and try to make the performance clause?
Yes, exactly. If I'm understanding what I'm reading, which I think I am.
But I'm saying, what would you do?
I know what I would do.
Athlete,
yeah.
When you take the money that you're guaranteed,
yeah,
and not money that you'd have to try to make with some type of, say, you have to have 1,000 yards rushing, or that you get the same amount of money if you sign on the dotted line and get 500 yards rushing.
I agree.
Plus your performance isn't guaranteed just on what you do. Just like we were just talking about Lenore Sellers. If he would have better players surrounding him, he would have had a much better year. So, why should this kid suffer because they're not surrounded by players that can make their performance better and bring in their bonus?
Here's the headline from Larry's story in Tiger Illustrated. What we are hearing on Clemson's incentive-based approach with player agreements. And just to read you just a smidgen about what he wrote here. Amid December and January retention spree, we asked a source a question in the midst of Peter Woods and T.J. Parker becoming millionaires. Is the staff imparting the message to these two guys that there's another level they need to reach to justify their salaries, that neither of them are all that great in 2024? The contact said, quote, yes, you would hope, end quote. And he goes on to say,
I think the big word there is hope.
Well, he goes on to say, as Clemson continues to solidify its roster, there are certainly some learn-as-you-go lessons that have brought wisdom and some course correction. Like Will Helt is one of the big money winners at Clemson here this offseason because of his performance this past season. He's also saying that the linebacker they signed from Cal, Luke Farrelly, is getting paid a lot of money, and also Braden Jacobs, who they call the franchise left tackle. As he writes, they're prepared to pay big money for a right tackle if they can find one in the portal. So,
well, how much money did they give the kid from SMU?
I don't know.
Back?
I don't know. But they wanted a speed running back, and they went and got
Isn't that one of their big scores for the year?
I would say so.
Isn't that one of the big scores for their portal?
Mm-hmm. Here is the line.
Because
here is the line.
We all know C.J. Spiller's not doing a very good job recruiting high school kids.
Here is the line you need to hear. Here's the line you need to hear. Safe to say, Clemson's portal thinking hadn't totally evolved at that point, going back to when he's referring to some earlier recruiting from last year. But it's come substantially further now, to the extent that the program seems to endorse the idea that it's better to fork out a bunch of money on experienced college players who have shown what they're about rather than high school prospects who can be more of a crapshoot. And then he cites the Auburn situation, where the Auburn reporting is that their new staff is overhauling its NIL structure, moving away from front-loaded deals for unproven players into a production-based mode.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A nurses' strike hit several major New York City hospitals. Correspondent Julie Walker reports.
Thousands of nurses across 3 hospital systems in New York City went on strike Monday after contract negotiations broke down. Mayor Mamdani was at their picket line at New York Presbyterian.
These nurses are here for New Yorkers.
The strike involves about 15,000 nurses, including Tristan Castillo, who works at Mount Sinai.
The strike is about getting a third contract.
They say the major issues include staffing levels, workplace safety, and health care. Julie Walker, New York.
Democratic Senator Mark Kelly is suing the Pentagon over attempts to punish him. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The lawsuit comes a week after Defense Secretary Hegseth censured Kelly over his participation in a video that called on troops to resist unlawful orders. Kelly claims the Trump administration is trampling on his constitutional rights to free speech. The Pentagon's action could result in a demotion from Kelly's retired rank of captain and subsequent reduction in retirement pay. The suit asks the court to rule that the censure letter and any other punishments against the senator are unlawful and unconstitutional. Greg Clugston, Washington.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says diplomacy is always the first option for President Trump, but he's keeping his options open regarding Iran.
I think one thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table, and airstrikes would be one of the many, many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief.
On Wall Street, the Dow up by 86 points, the Nasdaq rose 62, the S&P advanced 11, oil up to $59.60 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-524-4948. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-524-4948. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-524-4948. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-524-4948 or biglou.com.
A former Trump advisor is joining the management team at Meta. We hear more on the story from correspondent Marcela Sanchez reporting.
Facebook owner Meta has named Dina Powell-McCormick as president and vice chairman of the tech giant. Monday's announcement prompted praise from President Trump, who called it a great choice by CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Powell-McCormick previously served on Meta's board of directors. In her new management role, Meta says she'll help guide its overall strategy, including multi-billion-dollar investments. She brings experience in global finance and government roles at Goldman Sachs and service in the Bush administration. Her appointment comes as Meta seeks to strengthen ties with Trump, who was once banned from Facebook. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. Apple is playing
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 26. Tomorrow, all kinds of sunshine. We're a bit warmer too, the high climbing up to 60. Not as nice on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance for some afternoon showers, the high getting up to 59. We're bitter cold Thursday and Friday, highs just in the 40s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back. Hour number 2, Sports Talk Media Network, Manic Monday edition, coming off just a lousy, sucky, stinking, terrible, horrible, disgusting, pitiful weekend. Man, I'm sitting there 21-3, and I'm like, I know it ain't over, but the way it was being played, we're talking about the Packers and the Bears, the way it was being played, the game was totally in Green Bay's hands, totally. Mm-hmm. But I could tell, I'll tell you this, and things were perfect. Think about it, if you're a Packer fan, you had to be just overjoyed. You had the Bears going for fourth down just haphazardly. They didn't even think about doing anything else but going for it on fourth down. You were stopping them. You scored on 3 straight possessions, all touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. You stopped them again late in the first half to the point where you lined up to kick. Here's where the game turned. I fully believe this. Johnson called a timeout just before the field goal of 55 yards at the end of the half and made him kick it again. He didn't make it. You go, okay, but you're getting the ball to start the second half. Had he been able to kick that field goal, had he made that field goal, and you're getting the ball to start the second half, that is just, you can't dream up a better situation for your team. All right, he missed it on the second attempt. You're still getting the ball to start the second half. The very first play, I could tell something was different. The Packers offensively in the first half, when they had the football, they were in rhythm. They had an idea when they came to the line what they were doing. There was no hesitation. First play of the second half, they take the clock down, the play clock down to about a second. And I thought to myself, that's totally different than what they were doing in the first half. First half, they were getting to the line. They were getting their players set. They got the alignments they wanted. and they snapped the ball, and they got into a good rhythm. All of a sudden, coming up to the line, and the clock is winding down, I'm thinking, no, you're taking your foot off the gas here.
Yep.
You're taking your foot off the gas, and, we saw what happened from there, so.
Well, if there was any team that the Packers played this year that they knew they couldn't take the foot off the gas because they had seen this during the regular season, you've got to drive that stake right through Chicago's heart and put them away. Because they let them back, one other time when they were down 10 in the fourth quarter.
Oh, and they let them off the hook in Chicago with the all they had to do was fall a receiver, Dobbs, one of their best receivers who can make miraculous catches, can't field an onside kick that bounces right to him. It's not like he had to go dive on it. It came right to him. He misplayed it like a shortstop, sitting back on a ball instead of charging it. He sat back and the ball played him instead of the other way around. So, anyway, it made for a most unhappy rest of the weekend. And that happened on a Saturday, which means I had to listen and read all about it for 2 days.
And I'm convinced had J.C. Horn not gotten hurt late in the game for the Panthers would have stopped the Rams down the stretch, and you would have really had to deal with some fun today.
That would have been tough.
The Panthers won and the Packers had gotten beaten, especially after you proclaimed that the Panthers were going to get, quote, blown out by the Rams.
Well, it was 17-3 early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rams were up 17-3, and I thought, here you go, Corn being a genius again. But give the Panthers credit. They fought back. I give them – hey, look, they had a nice turnaround year. They backed their way into the playoffs. Then again, I didn't realize this. I'd forgotten. The Packers lost their last 4 games. Lost that game in Chicago. Lost a game in Denver that they had a big lead, should have won. Lost a game in Chicago, should have won. And then the guys started getting hurt, and they started resting guys. They lost that game to the Ravens and then lost that game to Minnesota to close out. But they were playing their JV.
Right.
Packers will go into next season on a 5-game losing streak.
And I really am curious, and I wish I could get Nick Sirianni in an honest moment with the Eagles, because, the Eagles were playing for the 2 seed, would have been playing the Packers at home as opposed to the 49ers, but they rested all their guys the final day of the regular season. They lost, fell to the 3 seed, and I was thinking at the time, you really want to play down and have to deal with the 49ers? I don't know that that's really that smart. I think I would have made sure that Hurts and Barkley played until the game was out of hand one way or the other. I thought that was a dumb decision on the Eagles' part, and they paid for it yesterday.
But, it's such a tough call because you can get hurt, anytime you're on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened to
like Kittle did yesterday.
George Kittle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you just never know. You just never know. So you cross the teams that advance are the healthiest usually with their stars. Their stars are the healthiest. Their quarterbacks are in one piece. Their receivers, which are so important, are healthy and on the field. Those are the guys that are moving forward for the most part. So let's go to Hank in Columbia, then we'll dive into recruiting here coming up on Sports Talk. Hank, welcome in. How are you? Good to have you with us.
Hey, Corn. How's it going?
Great.
Hey, I was just trying to respond to. I was listening in the first hour. They were talking about like Stewart and Sellers, and I think the NFL guys or professional guys, they kind of know when they're looking at talent, the type of talent you have, because I kind of the last couple of weeks have been thinking about so many times last year when our basketball team struggled, and at times when our basketball team was struggling, there were actually people that looked at Colin Murray's boys and said, "Oh, I think he needs to come back for more development in this," because they were losing games. But right now, they said he would probably be second or third in the Rookie of the Year award for how he's playing. And he's posted a stat the other night that it said hadn't been posted since David Robinson did it in his first year.
Yeah, you're right. So, I was one of those who said I didn't see it. Did you see it, Bergie? I didn't see him as a rookie in the NBA having this sort of impact. I thought another year in college would have been good for him.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's, I think sometimes we just get caught up with some of the guys that we have that come through here that are very talented that just are not being able to deal with the type of talent around them for you to show what they are. And I think it's the same with Lenore. I mean, if you gave him a time, just a little bit of time back there to look and scan the field with that arm he has, so the receivers could get down the field and get open. He could really kill you, and as big as he is, if you give him that time to get him in space, you see what he can do. So I just think sometimes our fans have type of misjudge. And I was listening to somebody talk about Dylan Stewart, and they talked about his stats. I think earlier this year, Corn, you said one time, you could actually compare the stats in the first year to second year, and his stats were almost better, and everybody knows he was playing basically with a real issue with his back. And, you know, our age, sometimes we got to bed. If our back's up,
your age,
can't even
when you get to be your age, you got to watch that back, Hank. That's right. Watch that back when you're
you can't even walk. You can't even walk.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine what that must feel like at your age. So I can't really relate to that.
I know them at golf course, but if you imagine, so I think sometimes our real big stars get judged too much by, you know, having a lack of talent around them, whereas the NFL looks at what they have and says, hey, this guy or somebody could do really well. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're right. I mean, there are a lot of factors that do go into it. In Dylan Stewart's case, of course, we didn't know until, was it after the year or late in the year when they said he was having this back issue. And I think he played the Clemson game, or as long as he could. He played as long as he could with this back issue that just requires rest. I don't think it's requiring any off-season surgery or anything like that. So he'll be back at 100%, and the hope is that they've signed somebody or they've developed some people who can play opposite him to give the Gamecocks a bona fide rush off of both sides. I got to be honest with you. I like what I see from what the Gamecocks are bringing in. It is a roll of the dice right now in that we don't know how these guys are going to be, because this time last year when they were signing these other offensive linemen, you said, gosh, look at these linemen in South Carolina bringing in. They're big, and they got some experience. Yeah, they're coming up from a lower level, but, man, they got a chance to really step in and help this offensive line, and it was a struggle from day one. But you know what? It wasn't just the newcomers who struggled. The veterans struggled.
No, exactly. On
the offensive line with the same coach that they had when they were pretty good the year before. I don't know what the explanation is. It's just got to be deeper than what we're thinking, because that was just strange the way the season began up front for them, with the constant breakdowns in protection. Obviously, the sack number is embarrassing, and then of course all the penalties in the first few games. It's like, where's your mind? What are you thinking about when you're on the field?
It's a great point. And now that the NBA, or at least the college teams, are starting to try and flirt and get at least G League level guys to come back down and play collegiately, maybe the Gamecocks could figure out a way to get a two-way contract with Kyle Kennard again and bring him back from the Chargers after their season's over. Let him play a little bit opposite, because clearly when Dylan Stewart had somebody opposite him, and Kennard had an outstanding season, and you wonder how much of his ability was based off what was on the other side and vice versa. If they can get somebody on the other side of that defensive line to help out and also be a pass-rushing threat the way Dylan Stewart is, we saw what Stewart could be.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a freshman, all freshman everything his first year at Carolina.
But nobody knew going into 2024 that the Gamecocks are going to be that good at defensive end between those two guys. Nobody.
You're right.
I mean, Stewart had all kind of a reputation as a high school guy, and Kennard was a good player at Georgia Tech, but he rose to such a high level. It's crazy, how to become the National Defensive Player of the Year, the award winner, and all that. I mean, he was fantastic, but nobody knew that was going to happen. But that defense was unique, because you had they really hit the jackpot in the portal with that defense, and also in earlier transfer recruiting. Because remember, Bam Martin Scott, who's with the Panthers, right? He was a junior college guy they took, and they developed. It took a little while, but then he took off. And Knight, who they brought in from the portal, became, of course, Demetrius Knight became such a leader of that defense, an older guy. They were an older defense. And, Eman Worry blew up into an All-American, and DQ Smith was a very good complementary safety for them back there. And the corners were solid. And they were, of course, you had 3 NFL guys on the defensive line. That was like you would almost say a generational defense at South Carolina. It was that good.
No, they were outstanding, and you're right. And they hit, and that's why I think it sort of shone a big spotlight on this year's team, considering they tried to rebuild so much through the portal and just missed on so many different players, both offensively and defensively, when you saw a Kyle Kennard come in and just be terrific, and all the different guys they brought in, the pieces, they just hit so many perfect fits for them 2 years ago. It was surprising that they were so bad in the portal last year.
Yep. Well, with Shivers hitting the portal as a free agent now, that's 7 offensive linemen the Gamecocks are losing. I think there are, 6 coming back? I did a post on it last night. I think they've got 6 scholarship guys who were on the roster last season who were recruited scholarship players, 6 left on the offensive line from last year's roster. All right, back with recruiting in a moment.
The holidays are here, and Founders Federal Credit Union wants to make them brighter. Right now, when you open a home equity line of credit, you'll get up to $750 toward closing costs. That's more in your pocket for home improvement, debt consolidation, major purchases, unexpected expenses, a vacation, or getting caught up on your Christmas presents. The possibilities are endless. Imagine starting the new year with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends December 31st. Save more and make this holiday season one to remember. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates and flexible terms designed to fit your budget. Don't miss this chance to turn your home's equity into the gift that keeps on giving. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Make your plans now to get to the coast for the Palmetto State's premier baseball showcase. The Classic, March 5th through 8th at Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown. Now in its 36th year, the Classic features the best high school players and teams from across South Carolina. Don't miss your chance to see the state's top Major League Baseball prospects and title contenders at the Classic. Presented by Coastal Chevrolet Cadillac Nissan. There will be games and contests, including a home run derby throughout the weekend. Visit theclassicgtown.com for tickets and more information. The Classic, showcasing South Carolina's finest in high school baseball, March 5th through the 8th in the state's best ballpark, Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, recruiting here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. You need to see well and take a look at that menu when it comes out on Tuesday on their website. Make sure you're seeing well by going to the Seawells website, SeawellsCateringSC.com. Check out the menu for the week. What are you doing, Plumber?
My headset's all wrapped up in my chair. I can't hear anything.
What a rookie. You hear that, Bergie? He's such a rookie. Still a rookie.
He could hear. He could say anything. Do you want me to give you the menu?
Do you have a new menu?
He also made a mistake by calling it a headset. They're headphones.
They're headphones, not headsets. Yes. Don't break them.
Mine are earbuds.
The landlord will be upset if you break one of his.
They're my earbuds.
Headsets. What you got on the menu?
For tomorrow's Southern Fried Chicken, carved rosemary pork loin with mango relish, chicken pot pie, and hamburger steak with grilled onions.
That's it?
I mean, for Tuesday, yes.
Yeah. Hey, Bergie, do you notice how the plumber, when we let him read the menu, how he tries to force that voice deeper instead of sounding like the 14-year-old that he sounds like normally?
I like his real radio announcer voice.
I'm Johnny I'm Johnny Radio. Hey. You'll impress your professors that way when they have you read a script. Anything else?
I will say Friday is carved roasted sirloin of beef. And Wednesday there's grilled boom boom shrimp.
Oh, boom boom. All right, and call Seawells for all your catering needs at 803-771-7385. So let's get caught up on everything happening in free agency. 17 signed by South Carolina. Wide receiver Jaden Gibson from Oklahoma. Defensive tackle Jordan Thomas from Georgia. Offensive lineman Carter Miller from UCF. Offensive lineman Hank Purvis from Purdue. Place kicker Upton Belafant from Texas Tech. Cornerback Quashid Scott from Kentucky. Offensive lineman Jacarius Peak from NC State. Offensive lineman Emmanuel Poku from East Carolina. Running back Sam Williams-Dixon from Ohio State. Receiver Nitro Tuggle from Purdue. Offensive lineman Dane Arnett from Ferris State. Defensive tackle Tomiwa Durajaye from Illinois. Long snapper Emmett Rhodes, Western Carolina. Defensive tackle Kelby Collins from Alabama. Defensive end Drew Collins from Arkansas State. Offensive lineman Seth Smith of Northern Arizona. And running back Jabri Coleman from Penn State. Those last four all fell in on Sunday for the Gamecocks. For Clemson, cornerback Elliott Washington from Penn State. Linebacker Luke Farrelly from Cal. Safety Jerome Carter from Old Dominion. Cornerback Donovan Starr from Auburn. Safety Corey Myrick from Southern Miss. Defensive tackle Courtney Kelly from West Georgia. Defensive tackle Marcus Strong from Oklahoma. Defensive end London Merritt from Colorado. Defensive end C.J. Wesley from Howard. And running back Chris Johnson Jr. We'll call him the Pony Express because he's fast, as we all saw when they played at Clemson. And those two, Wesley and Johnson, fell for the Tigers yesterday. So what else has been happening? Let's go over what else has been happening on their respective free agent boards as far as other people still on there and people they missed. So for the Gamecocks, for the Gamecocks, they had in Joshua Manning, wide receiver from Missouri. Haven't seen a decision from him yet. An offensive lineman, Paul Mubinga from LSU. Haven't seen a decision from him yet. Tight end Spencer Mermans from Yale. Nothing yet. Quarterback Malachi Marshall from Iowa Western Junior College, going to visit Florida State this weekend. And defensive end Jordan Norman from Tulane. Still waiting on a decision there. Others who came in who are going elsewhere. Running back Nate Palmer is going to Wisconsin. He's from TCU. Offensive lineman Bryant Williams from Louisiana. He's going to Arkansas. Offensive lineman DJ Chester from LSU signed today with Mississippi State. Tight end Randy Pittman from Florida State signed with SMU. Tight end Josh Sapp from Clemson yesterday signed with West Virginia. And defensive end Chaz Coleman, who never visited but South Carolina was going after from Penn State, he signed with Tennessee. So that's what we have on the Gamecock board. On the Clemson board, Chris Bracey visited, safety from Memphis. Have not seen anything finalized on him yet. Cornerback Kenny Mosley from Penn State, same deal. Linebacker Dexter Foster from Oregon State. Defensive tackle Francis Bruyu from Pitt. Those all visited, and I have not seen where they've made decisions yet. Those who visited and went elsewhere, Johnny Brown, offensive tackle Georgia Southern, to Louisville. Josh Huff, defensive tackle, California of Pennsylvania, to Cincinnati. Matai Tagoai. Matai Tagoai, linebacker, Southern Cal, UCLA. Safety, Edwin Joseph, Florida State, Ole Miss. And by the way, Tagoa I, it wasn't UCLA for him. It was Arizona. Sorry about that. Arizona. That was a misread, not a factual error.
Well, that's...
It was a misread. I read the wrong line, not a factual error. Quickly corrected. Defensive tackle Jamal Wallace, Tennessee. He's going to Utah. Defensive end Keyshawn Johnson from UT Martin. He's going to Syracuse. Defensive tackle Andy Berberija. From Iowa Western Junior College last night. He signed with Nebraska. Safety Lyric Rawls from Kansas. Arizona State. Defensive tackle Malik Blockton from Auburn. LSU. And offensive lineman Stanton Rammel from Michigan State. He's going to Auburn. So that's the Clemson board to this point in time. All right, some other notes. Let's see. Don't want to repeat anything. That's why I'm stalling here. Clemson free agent safety Ricardo Jones going to Vanderbilt. South Carolina free agent offensive tackle Josiah Thompson has been projected to Miami by the transfer portal, a site on X. Former USC defensive back Emory Floyd, who was at Appalachian State, going to Colorado. Quarterback Trey Guerrera, Tyler Junior College in Texas, transferring to Coastal Carolina. This season, 2,811 yards, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Former West Side receiver Jimmer Boston signed with Charlotte after 2 seasons at NC State. Greenwood native running back Jalen Foster of Itawamba Junior College, Mississippi, going to Southern Miss. Clemson target defensive tackle Francis Brew of Pitt was at Ohio State on Saturday. He's a native of Columbus. Clemson defensive tackle Caden Story withdrew from the portal, John, according to Pete Nakos. Got a little bit more. And then, 1st and 10 with Zach.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening, a low temperature dipping down to 26. Tomorrow, all kinds of sunshine. We're a bit warmer, too, the high climbing up to 60. Not as nice on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance for some afternoon showers, the high getting up to 59. We're bitter cold Thursday and Friday, highs just in the 40s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Nothing better than supporting local farmers and getting the best of the best when it comes to beef. Did you know H&J Cattle Company now is a store you could shop at directly? Yep, 2074 Bethany Schoolhouse Road in Saluda. Highest quality beef, a nice drive out to the country, and great playground for the kids. You can even get an ATV tour of the farm. Even have local honey, tallow, elderberry syrup, and beautiful home decor items. Online, it's HandJCattle.com or find us on Facebook, H+J Cattle. Better yet, come around and see us. H&J Cattle Company.
Into Trump's. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul are suing the federal government to stop an enforcement surge by Immigration and Customs Enforcement following the fatal shooting of a Minneapolis woman by an ICE officer. The state and cities filed the lawsuit in federal court on Monday. President Trump says Iran wants to negotiate with Washington after his threat to strike the Islamic Republic over its crackdown on protesters in nationwide demonstrations that activists said Monday had left at least 599 people dead. Iran had no direct reaction to Trump's comments. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 86 points, the Nasdaq rose 62, the S&P 500 advanced 11. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Hi, I'm Tazima. Join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. for Small Business Saturday. We'll celebrate business owners in our community while learning their stories of success and failure. It's Small Business Saturday right here at 100.7 The Point.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SudethAuto.com.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
All right, Zach Willis coming up in a little bit. 1st and 10 with Zach. Going to wrap up the recruiting for tonight. All right, let's pick up where we left off. Let's see here. Trying to find stuff that we haven't already mentioned. South Carolina receiver Vandrevius Jacobs to Miami. Receiver Brian Rowe to UCLA. Former Gamecock quarterback Aaron Nolan to visit Memphis this past Saturday. Former Clemson offensive lineman Rowan Byrne with North Carolina now. And Gamecock commitment cornerback Amari Fountain was at Florida over the weekend. He has also been recently offered by Ohio State. We talked about Catawba Ridge cornerback Joshua Dobson, who was at Auburn over the weekend and now transferring to Huff. South Carolina offered 2029 quarterback Ty Snell, 6'3", 183 of Allen, Texas. He has nearly 20 D1 offers at this point. Last season, as a freshman, 1,030 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So great potential there. So recapping some other decisions that have been made. Turbo Richard, the running back from BC and Northwestern, going to Indiana. Andrew Threet, offensive lineman from Charleston Southern to North Carolina. Rowan Byrne from Clemson to North Carolina. Khalil Barnes from Clemson to Georgia. Shelton Lewis from Clemson to Arkansas. Yannick Smith, wide receiver from Summerville in East Carolina to SMU. Defensive end Justice Boone from Florida and Sumter to Wisconsin. Jakeith Jackson, wide receiver from Furman to East Carolina. Former Gamecocks Jerron Willis to Kansas, linebacker. Offensive lineman Trovon Baugh to Texas A&M. Wide receiver Amazing Littlejohn to Western Michigan. Tight end Michael Smith to Syracuse. Wide receiver Vandrevius Jacobs to Miami. Defensive end Jalen Brown to LSU. Defensive tackle Xavion Hardy to USF. Offensive lineman Bo Stanley to Purdue. And offensive tackle Kason Henry to Louisville. Wide receiver Brian Rowe to UCLA. And Nick Sharp, offensive guard. He signed with somebody. I just didn't put it down here. Was it Michigan State? I know he visited Michigan State. Let me look here real quick just to wrap this up. Nick Sharp signed with who did he sign with, Bertie? Help me out.
Not a clue.
Let's see. Bring experience up front. Yeah, it was Michigan State. Okay. He did end up at Michigan State. I had put down here he visited Michigan State. I had failed to put down that he had signed with Michigan State. So there you go. Complete look at the free agent data sheet that we have for South Carolina, Clemson, and others connected. All right. Earlier today, I had a chance to talk with one of the incoming signees for South Carolina, Drew Collins. He and his brother headed to South Carolina. Drew coming from Arkansas State, and his brother, Kelby Collins, coming from Alabama. They were here for a visit recently they made 4 SEC visits. Kentucky and Mississippi State and Auburn were the other 3, along with South Carolina. And I asked Drew about why the 2 of them settled on South Carolina.
It mainly was the coaching staff. It was a great environment. Love South Carolina, love the city, but the coaches really stood out to both of us. It was a lot of schools that reached out, but it was kind of biased on their decisions and who they really wanted. Some of the schools mainly want me, but not really want him as much. Some of the schools mainly wanted him, but not really wanted me. And South Carolina showed interest in both of us with the coaching staff and how they showed love to both of us, and they really did it.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Kelby, coming out of high school, was also recruited by South Carolina, correct?
Correct, he was.
How much did that influence you guys, the fact that he has some familiarity with the program?
Well, that already was kind of on our mind. We already knew kind of a little bit what it was because he ended up taking the official visit out of high school to go there. So he was kind of already familiar with the coaching staff, but they ended up switching some of the guys. Like my position coach, Coach Barnes, he is fresh. Like he's just got there from Penn State. And I believe his D-line coach did as well. Not from Penn State, but just, you know what I'm saying, from another school. So, but for the rest of the staff, they kind of already knew who we were because we came in 2023.
So did you also come in for a visit back in 23?
I was with him on the official visit, yes.
So you got to look at it as well. What do you guys think about just everything that they have to offer from a football standpoint, from a facility standpoint, living quarters? What kind of things impressed y'all the most?
The facilities were fantastic. From the strength staff and the weight room to the locker rooms. Everything was just top tier. And the city really did it for me. I'm a guy that's very adventurous, and when I have time, I'll just take a drive and, you know what I'm saying, go around and explore and look at things, try new foods and stuff like that. And there was a lot of places that I could do that and a lot of places that I could drive around and just, you know what I'm saying, see. I love a big city. I'm from a big city. And when I was at Arkansas State, I wasn't able to do that in Jonesboro, Arkansas. There wasn't many places to go. If we needed anything, we would have to go to Memphis. So it was about an hour away. So it was just great.
Yeah. And what did the coaches lay out for you and for your brother as far as, you know, what they expect from you guys and how you can be worked into what they do on their defensive front?
Well, they expect high things from both of us. They really... The way that they laid everything out, they expect me to come in and be on the other side of Dylan Stewart. and show all the potential that I have and put it out there on the field. And also put some pressure on the quarterback. They needed somebody who to come in and put pressure on the quarterback and make those plays, and I feel like I'll be that guy. And as far as him, they need somebody who can stop the run and need somebody who can do things for the inside and the out.
What do you think of Dylan Stewart?
I think he's a great player, man. Me and him are in the same class, and just watching him, I think he's a great player. He has a lot of potential, and if he keeps going the same route he's going to be a first-round pick.
And last thing, what's it mean to you and your brother to get a chance to play college football together? Of course, he's sort of getting towards the end of his college career, and you still have some time left, but a chance to play together. What does that mean to you guys?
Man, that means the world. We haven't got a chance to play together, really be on the field at the same time in the same team since Little League. I mean, we played together in high school, but we didn't really play together. We were just on the same team. He was in front of me, and I was behind him for the same position, and I didn't really get that opportunity to go out and showcase my talents, which led me to transfer to another school after he graduated. But me and him never really played together on the field at the same time since Little League. So once we got the opportunity to play together and feel like we both were equally wanted just as much, then it really was a no-brainer.
All right, there you go. That's Drew Collins coming in with his brother to South Carolina. Apparently not wasting any time spending some of that money, I guess, that he's gotten from somewhere. There's a Jordan K. tweeted out a picture from Collins's Instagram story, apparently of him picking out a Corvette at a Chevrolet dealership in Columbia.
Nice. Good
Yep.
for him.
Come on in, get yourself a hot rod. All right, we got Zach coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Jim Corbett. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years. There's one thing I've learned about injury cases, it's you need the personal touch. You need the lawyer to get to know you and describe your damages. You don't want a case manager talking to an insurance company and then talking to you and then talking to maybe to a lawyer with limited experience at the last minute to try to settle a case. I talk to you, I find out what your case is about. Jim at JimCorbettAttorney.com. Jim at JimCorbettAttorney.com for your injury cases.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry, we've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Just like in college basketball today, sometimes it's about who you bring in off the bench to provide that extra spark. At StraightUpSports.net, we're excited to announce the addition of Brett Friedlander, a longtime ACC insider columnist, to our all-star lineup that includes Bob Gillespie, Scott Kiefer, Mark Sturgis, and more. At StraightUpSports.net, it's always about the stories. Check out this all-star lineup at StraightUpSports.net or at Straight Up Sports on Facebook.
Now, First and 10 with Zach Willis on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Willis, for that introduction. Let's welcome in the coach, Zach Willis. Another edition, First and 10. Coach, welcome in. Hope you had a great weekend. I know you were watching a lot of football over the weekend.
Yes, I was, Phil. I got a great diet of football, and it was awesome.
I got to ask you a question. I was going to save this for Coach Reedy, Coach Johnson, I can ask them too. It's kind of a stupid question. Will you allow me to ask a stupid question?
Bo, it's your show, buddy.
Bergie, can I ask a stupid question?
No such thing. Only stupid answers. So,
Well,
Zach, you're on the spot here.
From a football standpoint, explain to me why on a long drive, let's say 13 plays, 6.5 minutes, long drive, that they always say the defense tires out. Then why doesn't the offense get tired? If the defense gets tired, why doesn't the offense get tired? They're out there the same number of plays.
Well, first of all, that's a great question. It's not a stupid question. I mean, I do have an answer based on it depends on what sports scientists you talk to, and this was actually something I believe Chuck Reedy taught me. He taught me a bunch of things when I worked for him. One of the him and Ellis both are two of the smartest guys you could have on your show as far as knowing football and really knowing it from the ground up, and they taught me a ton. I think it's 88% more energy that a defensive man has to use because of one simple thing, you're reacting to whatever the offense is doing. So if you ever watch a water buffalo and a cheetah and the cheetah's chasing them around, or maybe it's an elk or a gazelle, something really fast, when they change directions, they know where they're going. And this is how it was explained to me. The guy doing the chasing has to react, which takes more energy, both mentally and physically, because they've got to keep their eyes locked on them and then try to anticipate where they go to make up ground. So that's why in theory, it would tire them out more, is because you're in total reactionary mode most of the time.
That makes sense. I just was wondering about that because people always like to say, defense, look at that defense. That defense is tired. Oh, the offense is out there too. I kind of get that. I was kind of asking that kind of partially in jest, but I wanted to hear the scientific explanation. So Indiana's offense and defense, they did not get tired against Oregon. Here's another really good team that they just destroyed the other night by a 56-22 count in a game that by halftime was basically over. What do you like so much about this Indiana team now after seeing them the last couple of weeks?
Well, the biggest thing is consistency. These guys, and it's not just from game to game, it's down to down in a football game. Again, this kind of goes back to the question you asked me about the defense, but they just don't make mistakes, and they take advantage of the opposition's mistakes. And this is where portal ball, whatever you want to call it, it's one of the characteristics. Yes, you get a lot more parity, but you have a lot less skill as far as within the scheme, and you're going to have some mental busts, mental mistakes, missed assignments is what I guess most people would understand it being. But you're going to have a lot of those because these kids, although they may be talented, they may be older, they have not been in the system they're playing in. Indiana, for whatever reason, that would take some examination. Their kids don't make mistakes, and they look like they've been in this offense for 3, 4, 5 years getting coached. And it's every spot. I mean, they are extremely good. And, I told you a couple of weeks ago I liked Miami and I liked Indiana. Both of these teams play with reckless abandon, and they're also very, very opportunistic and fundamentally sound and very physical. There's no weaknesses that I've seen out of either one of them. Maybe an injury here or there will cause a weakness to emerge. But these are two very, very good football teams that are peaking at just the right time. And this is where the playoffs, there's no doubt in anybody's mind, and maybe some fans with their feelings hurt, but these are the two best teams right now playing. There's no question about that.
Well, if Kurt Cignetti is all of a sudden this mastermind genius of a coach, which obviously he's done a fantastic job, really I guess every head coaching stop along the way, going back to IUP, then Elon, then James Madison, Indiana. I mean, what took him so long for people to recognize this? Was it just a case that he just got better and better every step up the ladder as he progressed?
I honestly, his dad was a great coach and was just happy being at IUP all those years and having great teams. And I think, honestly, he's a guy that, if you listen to him, there's not a lot of ego there. He's funny, but he's he's like told the guys, Google me. I win, and he does. But winning is not enough this guy is a product of the way you're supposed to do it. He's 64 years old, and he spent his life in coaching. He's a coach's kid, but he didn't get special favors from his old man. He was hard-nosed, tough, and they're from Pittsburgh, and they're perfect people to be from Pittsburgh, that blue-collar mentality. And he grew up the right way, and you can tell that by listening to him talk. Look at how his kids play. He left Alabama and went back to IUP to be a Division II head coach. And while he may not have the sexiest interview or whatever, this guy's been a great coach for a long time. He helped be the architect and recruiting coordinator for some of Coach Saban's best teams. Now, I don't think Coach Saban didn't have a hand in it, but this guy is an excellent evaluator of talent. He's a great fundamental coach, and his psychological approach, from everything I've seen, man, I hadn't seen that in a long time, since Coach Saban. And he believes in, he doesn't give them, as he says, and Coach Saban called it rat poison. I forget what Coach Holtz and Coach D'Antonio called it, but there was never anything done to damage the mental approach by inflating the confidence of their players. And that's something that any good coach knows, is you want them to stay humble and hungry. And I think it's just where he's not a politician. He's not a self-promoting guy that gets on the internet and promotes himself shamelessly like some of these other guys do. He's just a good ball coach, and nowadays that's not good enough, Phil. That's not enough. I mean, even when he gets a shot, where does he go? Indiana, losing the school in the history of major college football. But he did what a lot of great coaches do. He wanted to prove he could do it, and I think he has. He could take the absolute worst program in the country and whip everybody, which to me, I'm sitting there watching that. That's what I want to see. That's the guy I'm going to pull for, because he's doing it the right way. There's no doubt about that. And the product he's putting on the field is superior right now, and I mean by a good bit.
First and 10 with Zach Willis here on Sports Talk. Looking forward to next Monday night in the national championship game. And, Coach, you referenced both Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson. And one thing Ellis told us this past week was he spoke with an ACC official who did several of Miami's games this year. And that official told him that Miami was the most physically imposing team he had seen all season. Is that enough, though, against what Indiana does and the clean way that they play? As you pointed out, they just don't beat themselves.
Well, it's going to be a great game, I believe. I'm hoping for that. I mean, I don't pull for people anymore. I pull for the games to be close so I can be entertained and enjoy it. And, man, the NFL delivered, college football has delivered. The Indiana-Oregon game was one of the first blowouts we've seen, other than the people that were in there that we knew shouldn't be in there. But everything else has been really good. I think the thing that really makes this interesting to me is it's on Miami's home field. And that was decided years ago. That wasn't decided. It's not an unfair deal. Miami earned their way there and went on the road, and they didn't have a home. This will be their first home playoff game. A lot of people didn't even think they deserved to be in the playoffs. But I think it's that could be enough, because they're so athletic and they're twitchy on defense, which means they are super quick. They're very aggressive, and they play with an edge. And that's what's going to be needed if you're going to knock Indiana off of their game. They're just as physical as Indiana. Now, are they talented enough and disciplined enough to do it for 4 quarters? We'll just have to see. Because the thing is, we know Carson Beck's capable of elite-level quarterback play, just like our Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in Indiana is. I think it's a very evenly matched game. Obviously, I would favor Indiana, except it's a home game for Miami, and it does matter in college football big time.
Phil and I were chatting about this earlier, coming off the weekend of just incredible wild card playoff games in the NFL. And it just seems to me, Coach, and wanted to get your take, that the NFL playoffs always deliver. You talked about the Indiana-Oregon game just being a blowout. We never see those in the NFL. Is there a reason in your mind that the NFL playoff games maybe are a little bit better and they're always competitive the way they were this weekend, and I anticipate will be again tonight?
Well, I certainly – I think the level of play is so high in the NFL, and if you watch these guys play, every team out there is capable of beating the other team, and they've done that by, number one, the draft, the way they decided on the draft. The free agency was a real big deal in breaking up some of these dynasty-type teams with salary caps, and they're owned by great businessmen, and they're run by the owners who are guys that were excellent businessmen in other areas, and they know how to make money, and they know real right away, hey, the better these games are, the closer they are, the more people are going to watch them. The more people watch them, the more money we make. And so they did everything, and this has been, 100 years in the making? I mean, they are the best, not just at marketing, but they're the best at putting a product on the field that's second to none. And we went through a string when we were younger, all of us were anyway, where we had some blowouts in the Super Bowl, and you could tell there's a big concern in the league about that. And they have taken steps silently, quietly, and in a classy way. And the free agency is designed to create a level playing field for. It doesn't, like, you never hear them talk about how big the market is that a football team comes out of the NFL, because they eliminated that. And it's to their credit, and it's credited to their pocketbooks, and they can play players more and coaches more. And, having kids that played in that, young men play in that, and got one now that's been in there for, I guess, 14 years, who's highly intelligent. And he told me one time, he said, Coach, it's just like inches in every game, and you have a few blowouts, but they're very rare, and they're kind of like, wow, what happened? Because you expect it to come down to the last possession. I mean, how great is that really? How spoiled as we are fans at the elite play these people give us every week. And that's the one thing I will say. They're professional athletes, and 95% of them are elite level people too, with high intelligence IQs, especially with football. If you've known any of them, you know that. And the kind of I guess the peacocks or the unicorn would be a better word, I guess. The unicorn are some of the kids that have character issues that still play well, because it's hard to do, because it's so difficult and the competition's so elite.
Who you like Monday night? Real quick, who you got?
Oh, man, I'm not a picker, but I'd say Indiana, but only by a little bit, buddy. Only by a little bit.
All right, my friend. We'll do it again Monday night leading up, okay?
Okay, guys. Enjoy the game tonight.
Coach. Thank you. Have a great week. Yeah, that's right. We got a game tonight. Steelers in Houston. I don't care anymore. Done with it. Put a fork in me. I'm like the Lions, just a bunch of losers. Have a great night. We'll be at Clemson tomorrow night. We'll see you from there.